Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another session of Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants. My name is Joe Grabowski, and for those who don't know, we're all about bringing science, adventure, and conservation into classrooms across North America and beyond. I'm very excited to introduce our guest for today, Elise Downing, who's enjoying a nice down day from a pretty epic run that she's undertaken. A little more info. She has set out from Greenwich in London on the 1st of November in 2015, and she just started running clockwise, and she's going to continue doing that until she reaches London again in 2016. So probably about 10 months, 12 to 20 miles a day. And adventure's not something that's new to Elise. She organized a trip to the base camp of Everest in Nepal. So it seems like adventure is something that she's really interested in. So Elise, I'm going to let you take over. We have two classrooms joining us today, a grade 4 class from Hutchinson, Kansas, and a grade 5 class from Mount Airy, North Carolina. Elise, how you doing today? Oh, there we go. Elise, we can hear you now.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, hello. Oh.
Hi.
Hello. Hey.
Classes, if you can let's give her a really good welcome, a good hi.
Hi.
That's better. All right. So Elise, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and just what it is you're up to?
Yeah, so I'm Elise. I'm from Northampton, which is right in the middle of the UK, about the furthest place you can possibly get from the sea. But as Joe said, at the moment I'm I'm about 3 months into a run around the whole coast of the UK. So that's going to be about 5,000 miles, and it will take me about 10 months. As Joe said, I have done a little bit of adventuring before. My dad really likes kind of the outdoors, so I spent a lot of my childhood very muddy, covered in mud, climbing mountains, which was really good fun. And then I started to do a bit of adventure on my own, so I went kayaking around Sweden for a week, and then we launched the trip to base camp. But just before I'd kind of thought about going on any big adventures, I'd started running. And I started running not that long ago, so about 3 years ago, at the beginning of 2013. And I really liked the idea that it was something you could kind of get better at quite quickly. So I couldn't run a mile, and then quite quickly after that I could run a mile, and it was this idea that something impossible was actually quite possible. So I carried on running, and I went back to university to finish studying for my degree, and I managed to get the role of coordinating this trek to Everest Base Camp. And it was this amazing experience. There were 18 of us, and the trek took nearly 2 weeks, and we had quite a few disasters. So first of all, there was a big storm, and we couldn't fly out to where we were meant to fly to start the trek. So after sitting in the airport for 3 days, we had to get a helicopter, and it dropped us in this field, and then we had to hike sort of an extra day up to where the actual trek was meant to start with all our gear. But there was something about kind of being on this trip and doing it with so many other people, and everyone kind of achieving things. There were so many different people doing this trek who were achieving things that they'd never thought they could ever do, and it was just so exciting and so much fun. And then I came back from that trip, and I moved to London, and I started working in London, which wasn't that exciting, just working in an office job. And it was okay, but I wasn't massively happy, and I thought, well, I'm sure there's got to be something better to be doing than sitting in my office. And then I had this idea of running around the coast of the UK, and the idea came to me. I was working for a company that delivers things, so they delivered things all around the country. So I was looking at the map, and I looked at the map, and I thought, oh, I wonder if anyone has ever sort of walked or cycled or anything around the coast of the UK. And lots of people have. Quite a lot of people have cycled it and walked it, but at the time only one person had ever ran around the coast of the UK. And because I'd already been doing a bit of running, I thought, well, that's it, that's what I'm going to do. And this was at the beginning of last year, so it was about a year ago now. And I thought at the time maybe I'd do it in 2017. And it was really far away, and it felt like that was probably the right amount of time it would take to plan a big adventure. And then a friend said, well, why are you waiting 2 years? Why don't you just start in November? And I'm not sure if I should have listened to them, but I did. So I decided that I would just go for it. And so I picked November the 1st as the start date, and I told everyone that I was going, and that's what I was going to do. And then kind of 6 months passed, and I hadn't done a huge amount of planning, and then suddenly it was 2 weeks before the beginning of the adventure, and it dawned on me I actually had to go and run 5,000 miles, which was pretty terrifying. And so I didn't know if I could do it, but I thought, well, I've told everyone now, and I've planned it, and I've quit my job, so I'm going to have to just go and do this run. So I'm currently about 600 miles in, that's about 10,000 kilometres, and I've ran from London right around to Cornwall, so that's the whole bottom of the United Kingdom if you look at it on a map. It's winter, so obviously that makes it a bit difficult, and I've had wet feet a lot, which is probably the worst thing about the adventure. But I'm really passionate about kind of getting other people outside, so I've encouraged people to come and run with me, which is amazing. And so I've met so many people who've come out to run for a day and run so much further than they ever thought they could run. And I'm raising money for 2 charities while I'm doing it as well. So I'm raising money for Young Minds, who are a children's mental health charity, and Beyond Food, who help homeless people to kind of re-find employment and get back into work. So yeah, it's been a really good experience so far. If any. Ooh.
Okay, very cool. So, Elise, I've got a couple little pictures on here that I pulled off your website, and I'm going to put them up. And if you just want to comment on a couple of them. So,
yeah,
I grabbed just a couple, kind of give them maybe a little perspective of what you're doing, and then just a couple that looked interesting that you might want to talk about just a little bit. So let me switch over here. I'm going to share my screen. Just give me a thumbs up, Elise, if you can see what I've shared. So it's loading now. There it goes. Can you see the map?
Yeah, I can see it.
Excellent. So for the classrooms who are joining, here's a map of the United Kingdom, and, well, a rough route of kind of what you're going to be taking going along the coast. So
yeah,
you see London in the bottom right.
Yeah.
And then you said you're running clockwise. So where would you be right now if you...
Yeah, so I've got from where you can see London, and then I've come all the way around the bottom of England, and I'm almost right in the bottom left-hand corner now.
Okay. Very cool. So now you said there have been people who have biked around and who have used other modes of transportation. The routes that you're taking, are they pretty set out, or are you in some regions just kind of running over open field?
So it's a bit of a combination. I'm really lucky that somebody's made what's called the Southwest Coast Path, and that runs for 630 miles from around the middle of the bottom of England to just around the hooky bit. So I've been able to follow that quite a lot, but it's definitely not an easy path. It's all hills, especially at the moment because it's so muddy. It's raining a lot in England at the moment, so there's mud up to your ankles almost all the time. And then when I get to some other bits, there won't be a set out path, so it'll be a lot more just kind of trying to find my way.
Okay, so this next picture I really like. This next picture is a pair of sneakers, brand new, and a pair maybe a little gently used. So
yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about the shoes and just how often you're going through them and such?
Yeah, so a big thing that's going to cost me quite a lot of money on the trip is that I'm going to get through about 10 pairs of shoes. You can see on the right-hand side my new ones, and they're the ones I'm still wearing at the moment. But the left-hand side were the first ones. I did about 450 miles of the adventure in them, plus a little bit of running before the adventure. And I ran through the New Forest one day, and it had lots of brambles and prickles, and it ripped them to shreds. So lots of shoes, and they also don't smell very good. I went to a hostel a while ago, and I thought, what is this awful smell in the room? And it turned out it was actually my own trainers. So that's the downside of an adventure.
Yes, I see. Very cool. So this next picture looks like you're doing very similar to what you're doing now, but you're in person. Are you stopping in schools along the way?
Yes, I'm trying to stop in as many schools as possible as I go along the way, kind of to do exactly what we're doing now, but in person, which is always really fun, and then you get to meet loads of new people, and people ask really good questions. And I've also been kind of showing people what's in my backpack backpack. And so yeah, I'm trying to meet as many different people. So I'm stopping in some schools and then talking to other groups of people, so some adults as well. And then as well, I've been really lucky in being able to stay with lots of people as well. So it's been really, really interesting to meet all these new people who I never would have met if I hadn't come on the adventure.
Okay, well, that's enough questions for me. I'm going to turn off share screen, and let's introduce the two classrooms. Let's start taking some questions.
Oh, fantastic!
Because I'm sure they have some. So we do have two classrooms, like I mentioned before. Mrs. Collins' class is joining us from Mount Airy, North Carolina. They're fifth graders, and then we have Mrs. Edgar's grade 4s from Hutchinson, Kansas. So let's start off with our grade 4s. There they are. Your microphone is on.
Hi, my name is Jasmine. My question is, have you ever gotten lost?
Oh, I couldn't hear that. Could you repeat it?
Have you ever gotten lost?
Oh, I definitely got lost. I'm quite known for getting lost. My mum really laughs at the fact that about 2 days after I decided to do this, I went out for a run right near the place we'd lived for 20 years and managed to get lost. So I've definitely got lost. The worst day was I was in this place called Pagham Harbour, which is near Portsmouth in the south of the UK, and it's kind of a maze of waterworks. And when the tide's in, lots of the paths, you can't take them because it basically involves swimming across a lake. And it took me a really, really long time to get out of there, and I ended up having to climb over some barbed wire fences, and a man with a dog had to help me, and it wasn't very fun.
No, that doesn't sound like a lot of fun. Let's do 3 questions from each class to start off. So we'll take 2 more from Mrs. Edgar's, then we'll talk to our class in North Carolina.
Oh, fantastic.
Joe?
Yeah.
Our class actually has to leave to go talk to the principal. Could we ask one quick question?
Sure, absolutely.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
That's okay.
To run that far.
Oh, could you just repeat that?
How do you have enough stamina to run that far?
Okay, so I think it's a really interesting question. I did a little bit of training before I started to make sure that I could at least start the first day, but I think the main thing I've learned on the run is that you can really, really surprise yourself with how far you can go. And I think it's really different to a race where you're trying to run fast and get somewhere in a certain time, because I have all day to cover however far I need to go. So I just take it really slowly. Sometimes I listen to music or podcasts or things to try and sort of distract myself a bit. But mostly I think it's just about taking it slowly and knowing you'll get there eventually. But I'm definitely not running fast, so I think that helps. It's just got to keep going. And I read a really, really good book called Born to Run about these ultra running tribes in Mexico. And that was really inspirational. And they say to just relax your body, and you just have to kind of tap in and keep running, really. But it definitely, you get better at it. It was really, really hard at the beginning, and it's getting easier.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you have any luck really before it was
My question is, where do you sleep at night?
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear that.
Where do you sleep at night?
Okay, so this is going to change as I go around. I thought I would be camping all the time, but actually people are really, really nice, and I haven't pitched my tent once yet. So I've stayed with lots of sort of friends of friends, and some nice hotels have let me stay with them. So I've stayed in some really interesting places. I stayed in a lighthouse a few months ago, which was really cool. But then when I get into Wales, and especially at the top of the country in Scotland, I will be camping. So I've got my tent and my sleeping bag and a little cooker in my bag as well. But at the moment, because there are quite a lot of people on the south coast, I've been really lucky that I've been able to stay with people, and because it's winter, that's been great. But I'll definitely be camping soon.
My name is Karen. My question is, have you ever wanted to study?
Oh, could you, if you talk to the camera a bit more, I think I can hear you better.
Have you ever wanted to stop what you were doing, stop running?
Oh, I think, yeah, definitely. Almost every day at some point. But I think what I try and do is tell myself that what kind of running, even when it's a bit rubbish, is more fun than what I'd be doing if I wasn't running. So that would be sitting at work or just sitting at home not doing much. But definitely, I think that's the main thing that's difficult, more than the actual running, is making sure you keep on going, and that is really difficult.
Oh, that's just a hard charge.
Good question. I see someone making a in the back.
Yeah.
Just tell us when to stop. My name's Evan, and my question is, have you ever got injured while running?
Yes, I have. So just before Christmas, my leg kept hurting a little bit, and I kept ignoring it, which is a really bad thing to do. If something hurts, don't ignore it. Go and see a doctor. But I kept running, and then it was the 23rd of December, so the day before Christmas Eve, and I got 100 metres down the road, and my leg just didn't want to play anymore. So we had to stopped running and decided to be sensible. So I went to see the physiotherapist, who told me it wasn't anything big, I just needed to rest. So I've actually had 2 weeks off, and I started running again last Wednesday. So I've only been back for about 5 days, and injuries are really annoying, but it's just reminded me that I need to keep on doing all the things that are good for you, like stretching and not ignoring a problem, just to keep on going, because it will ruin it eventually if I do that.
Okay, we have announcements starting on my end, so that's going to be a little disruptive. So I'm going to mute my mic, but please go ahead with another question.
Okay.
My name is Megan, and my question is, who encouraged you to start running?
Sorry? Could you just repeat that?
Who encouraged you to start running?
I'm not sure, to be honest. So my mum and my dad and my brother all are runners, which is but I was never a runner. I was never interested in running, but I guess I've always known that it's something that people did because they were doing it. And then it was actually a New Year's resolution that started my running. So I thought, well, I want to be able to run and just to be a bit healthier. So that's why I started, really. But there wasn't one person in particular at the time who encouraged me. But obviously it's really great that a lot of my family do run, because now they're going to come and do bits with me and get involved. So that's been really good.
Okay, so Mrs. Editor's class, you do have lots of time for questions, so don't feel like you have to stop, especially with the little bit of a later start. So
We're fine whenever you guys need to go, Elise, whenever you need to go.
Okay, we've got a little while, so don't worry.
Okay, all right, Riley.
Hi, my name is Riley. Have you ever seen anything weird when you run?
She can't hear you. You gotta go right here, like right there. Bend down.
Have you seen anything weird while you run?
I just got while you run. Could you just say it one more time? Sorry.
Have you seen anything weird while you run?
The weirdest things I've seen, which probably isn't what you're going to expect, but on Saturday it was horrible weather. It was raining loads, and I wasn't having a very good day, to be honest. And someone had come to run with me, and we needed to wait somewhere because the place I was staying, I couldn't go until 5 o'clock, and it was only about 2 o'clock. So I couldn't go there yet, so we had to find somewhere to go and wait. We were in a tiny little place in Cornwall which had no shops or anything, so we thought there might be a pub or something we could wait in, and there wasn't. And then eventually we found this corner shop, and in the back of the corner shop, so just like a little grocery store, there was a table and chairs right next to all the greetings cards and the washing up liquid and the wine, and they served full breakfasts that they cooked in the back of the post office. So that was one of the weirdest things I've seen so far.
Ate a breakfast from the post office. I'm Kylie, and my question is, how many miles have you ran on the UK coast so far?
So I've run about 600 miles. So about 600 miles. I'm averaging kind of 15 to 20 miles every day, and then having about one day off a week. So today's one of my day off for the week.
My question is,
What do I eat?
Yes.
Yeah, so at the moment, because I'm going around the south coast, where there's actually quite a lot of things and it's really heavily populated, I've just been eating quite normally, so nothing that exciting. And then I've got a company who providing me with snacks, which is really nice. So they send me kind of energy bars, like Cliff bars, if you've heard of those. So I usually have one of those in the day and have a big breakfast and then have dinner. But when I get to the more remote bits of Wales and Scotland where I'm camping, then I'll be cooking dehydrated food, so where they've taken all of the moisture out of the food, and then you heat it back up with water, and I'll cook that on my camping stove.
Okay, I'm actually going to share another picture that you might want to just comment on. Would you say that, there's the share, is this your typical viewing day? You're kind of running along.
My typical view.
Yeah, can you see the picture?
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, so that is very typical of what it looks like. So it's really, really beautiful coastline. It does mean that it's not easy because there's a lot of up and down. But yeah, it's really beautiful. And in that picture, you can just see running along. That's not actually me. That's my friend Verian, and she had only ever ran 6 miles before, and she said, I'm not sure I can come and do a full day, and then she came out and ran 20, so that was really awesome. But yeah, it looks like that an awful lot, which is really beautiful. Although at the moment, the path that you can see there, that's like a bit of a river because it's been raining so much.
All right, stop the share screen so I can come back. There we go. You mentioned your pack and how you have everything that you need to pack. How much does that weigh and keep unpacking?
Well,
Tell us what's in it.
I've got a bit of a secret. I haven't really weighed it yet because I'm a bit scared of what the answer might be. I think it's about 6 or 7 kilograms. I have taken quite a lot of stuff out of it because I realised I was carrying way too much stuff, so I'm down to 2 t-shirts and 2 pairs of socks. And in it, yeah, I've not really got too much stuff at the moment because I don't have my camping gear right now. So I've literally just got a spare set of clothes, my iPad so I can talk to people like I'm talking to you now, a little first aid kit and a book and an extra coat, and that is it. So I don't have much stuff at all, which was weird to get used to, that you haven't really got any clothes. And then soon I'll have my tent, my sleeping bag and my cooker as well.
Okay. Well, Mrs. Edgar's class, if you have 1 or 2 more questions, let's share them, and then we'll let Elise get on with her rest, her day of rest.
Sounds great. We've got 1 more question.
Awesome.
My name's Ariana, and do you usually see anyone you know when you run?
I haven't seen anyone, I've not bumped into anyone I know because I'm quite far away from home, but it's been really, really nice that quite a lot of my friends and family have come out to run and do little sections with me. So it's a good mixture of being able to have some company and also kind of get on and do it on my own. So people have come to see me, and I've been really, the best thing about the adventure is how sort of amazed I've been at how nice and supportive everyone is. So, but not just bumping into anyone, no.
Okay. Well, Elise, first of all, thank you so much for taking some time on your rest day to share the journey so far.
Well, thank you for having me.
And I want to definitely thank Mrs. Collins' class for joining us earlier, and for sure Mrs. Edgar's class. I know we had a few mornings, but I guess that's why it's called Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants. You never know what's going to happen. So we sorted it out and we got it going. we'll definitely have another hangout with Elise as she makes her way further along the coast. We'll do actually a couple kind of catch up. You guys can follow along as well on her website. Elise, I don't know if you want to maybe say another word or two or a goodbye, and then we'll get the classrooms to say, or regular classes, and we'll sign off for today.
Great. Well, yeah, well, thank you for having me. It's been really, really interesting to talk to you. I've been telling people all day that I've talked to a class in America. No one can believe it. So it's really exciting. And like I said, a big part of it is kind of talking to people and sharing the journey and hopefully encouraging them to go and do something really exciting. Because even if you can't do something right now, you probably can do it if you try really hard. So yeah, it's been really great to talk to you. And thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you. So excited.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you, grade 4. And it sounds like that's... I'll see you guys again on Thursday. And Elise, I'll talk to you shortly. Have a great...
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, dinner time. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.